Okay, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. Now, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to our host today. We got no other than Kalanji Jama Changa. Burn it down, Kim Brown. And Kamal K. Frank.
1 2 1 2. What's good? How y'all feeling today?
Good.
That's right. We did.
How's everybody doing? Kim, I like the new style.
It's not a new style.
Oh,
new style.
It's just I just twisted my hair. That's all, and I didn't want to.
I've seen it twisted before, so I just wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you had it laid, fried down, and laid to the side last week. You said it wasn't gonna last.
That's too much work to keep up with straight hair, doctor. I like to sleep. I like to wash my ears comfortably and not have to worry about, the edges, as it were. So this is me all twisted up. And normally I'm trifling and wash my hair the same day as show day, but I did it the day before. So tonight is going to be,
Word.
I changed my style too. Like I cut my beard just a little bit. I know people notice. It's like a little, you know what I'm saying?
It looks clean.
Appreciate it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look at Kamal.
Moving towards FOI. I see you.
True.
I see you, man. I see you over there.
Get my bow tie. I'm getting my bow tie.
Okay.
I need my final call, Kamal. Where's my final call at, bro?
Oh yeah, he gonna get that money too with them final calls, boy. It's gonna clear out.
I would have done good.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I just believed in the spaceship theory, it would have been all right. You know what I'm saying? That would have been the future for me. You know?
I ain't about to go there. Shout out to my folks all over the place, man.
The same, though.
You know what I mean?
The same. If I believed in it.
Yo. Come out on one early, per usual. Let's go.
Peace to the remixes out there. Remixes in the chat. You know what I mean? Welcome back. Hey. What a place to be. Remix Morning Show.
Y'all rock out. I catch you on the break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Easy cutout. Yeah, man. It's we're growing. We up to 17,000 right now here at BPM.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Yes.
That's the
good news I needed. That's the good news I needed on this Tuesday. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're aiming to hit 20,000 within the next 60 days. I think we could do it. You know what I'm saying? So, we're at 17 right now. We need 3,000. We need you to let all your folks know to subscribe to BPM Black Power Media. And we would definitely appreciate you. It's a lot of fake news out there. There's a whole lot of fake news. And it's a lot of censoring going on. It's a lot of censoring. Matter of fact, we have, stick around. We have some guests at the 9 o'clock hour. Of course, everyone knows what's going on in Buffalo, so we have a couple family members that will be coming on to talk about what's happening with that situation. And I mentioned fake news for a reason. One of these sisters, I actually know. She's a comrade I've been knowing for over a dozen years here in the Atlanta area. Her aunt was murdered by this pig a couple days ago, and she reached out, and we've been back and forth about strategy. So she asked me to appear on CNN with her yesterday. So, she's like, look, I'm gonna hit you back with the link, so on and so forth. She reaches out 15 minutes before. She said, these bastards said they had asked me for your name, and they called me back and they said we didn't know he was so militant. Yes, CNN. Fuck CNN. I'm saying it right here live and direct. They said they didn't know I was so militant. Now, mind you, I've been on CNN like 4 or 5 times already. You know what I'm saying? But they told her that they wanted the show to be this one to be more gentle and warm, talking about the family, so on and so forth. So not only do they murder you, but they want to control the narrative and tell you how to grieve and who to run, who to call, so on and so forth. So we'll be talking about that along with some other issues, of course.
Word.
But Tyranny, nice to see you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's
Good morning.
What's happening? Tierney's in the building.
Oh, it's good weather, so I'm good.
Okay. We need that.
I was going to say, on your point too. We should get obviously more into it in terms of the media coverage and even the politicians when we talk more about the story. But you can already see the politicians talking about praying with people, hand-holding, grieving, healing a nation. It's like, that's not your job. No one cares about your feelings on a matter in that respect. You're not helping anybody with that. But they already know that, right? They already know they offer no new legislation. There's nothing new that's going to come down the pike for them. So that all they want to do is to say that they're sympathizing with people as this stuff continues to happen and go on. So
yeah, I was watching Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, whom had a very fierce challenge in the last primary from India Walton. And I was just imagining, I'm like, I really would prefer India Walton to be out here speaking on behalf of the people of Buffalo instead of this coon ass nigga. But he got up there on Meet the Press Sunday and just repeated the same very, liberal talking points. We need more gun control. We need to rein in hate speech on the internet. We need more legislation. I'm like, bro, you can't legislate this problem away. You cannot legislate racial violence, white violence against Black people. Like, they're trying to make it in the form of, well, we need stricter gun laws. This motherfucker bought his gun legal. So now what? All these recent mass shooters, all their guns have been legal. There is no law that would have prevented these massacres. But we spend billions of dollars on police. They find every Black man with an expired license tag, but they can't find these racialized, racist little junior Klansmen who are out to murder Black folks. It's preposterous.
And then they shoot the folks who ain't got their license right. Those folks have a higher potential of getting killed by the police than some dude armored up from head to toe, obviously willing to kill, has just killed, has just wounded. That person, they can take the time to talk them down, to get them to surrender. But somehow in street stops, those folks got to get beat down, arrested, battered, and sometimes killed. So it just shows, like, if they want to try to attempt to do something, then most times they can. But the fact is that they don't really care about our lives. So they don't care if they talk us down or like that. If we don't respond right away, we get shot. Somebody who just killed 12, 13 people, they're calling in like hostage negotiators and people who can do some psychological profile to help stop this person from continue to doing what they're doing, to give up peacefully. That they can do when they want to.
Or they can waste time pulling over Black lacrosse players and searching them. But we'll talk about that later as well. What's happening, Tierney? What you got on that?
Definitely. I know we're about to go to break, but I definitely want to talk more about that gun issue, because I think that's something we just have to recognize. This is America. These people who have politics that we might not like hearing about, they are loaded, and if we're not prepared to actually meet that threat, then I don't know what you're going to do. But I definitely want to talk about that aspect, and also the aspect of like, what is the community response? It's over and over again, always this whole like, we're victimized, but understanding that I think this is a warning shot, honestly, about what's going to come. If you look at what's happening, like, people are literally losing their minds after post-COVID, post all of this recession talk, all of the gas prices going up. People are more and more losing their minds. And I think we have to have conversations about what are we going to do forward while we're also obviously healing from this horrible thing that happened.
And it's by design. Matter of fact, and I think that part of the problem, and I'm glad you said what you said, Tierney, because, we get upset for a moment and we move on to the next, to next piece. It's like right now, Black folks are moving targets, and we have to move away from being moving targets. I mentioned yesterday, it's like we're in a open air gun range. You know what I'm saying? And these crackers are waiting to clap us whenever they choose. But we have a few different things lined up. Today, we're going to be talking about this all day, literally. At 6 o'clock, I'll be on with Professor Griff. We'll be talking about this whole Buffalo event a little bit further. And then at 8 o'clock, I'll be with the brothers from Black Men Build, talking about niggas with guns. This is they decided to do something around the whole Robert Williams piece, Negroes with Guns, and they actually came up with this a few days. They planned it a few days before this quote unquote mass shooting. And we have to keep in mind that this is like, there's been over 200 mass shootings so far this year. So it ain't no new thing. It's just like we only hear about the ones when it's 5 or more or 10 or more. But this is going on, and it's been going on. There was over 600 and something last year. So we have to there's preventive measures, but also we have to like you said, we have to strategize. It's important, necessary. Yeah. So dead silence here. So
come on, QB. What's the next play?
Anyway, we have a whole lot coming on. We have the ear doctor, of course. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 3 different family members that will be joining us at the 9 o'clock hour. I think it's important to hear from them from our particular platform, because oftentimes the family members are censored, or when you deal with mass media, they edit, chop, screw, and do whatever they have to do to make sure that their narrative still fits the bill. So oftentimes you'll assume that every family member you run across, they just want justice, they want to march, or they want to leave it in God's hands and all of this other stuff. When in reality, that is the that is the design. And I'm so grateful. Like I said, with the whole thing with CNN, to me, it was a blessing because of the fact that what they did not realize is that we have our own platform, and then we can say what the hell we want to say. You know what I'm saying? And we could push it the way we need to push it. But this is why it's so important for folks to back platforms like ours, because we want to continue to give you that raw, uncut. So make sure you tune in, tap in, and continue to share what it is we're doing, because we're not doing it because we have nothing else better to do.
Well, be sure to point out, Kalanji, that Black Power Media, our 17,000 strong subscribers, is more than CNN Plus was able to garner with a $300 million investment. So CNN can.
Yeah. What she said. Yeah. Definitely. So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna bring the ear doctor to the box, and from there we're gonna come with that news. Stay tuned.
All right, no doubt. At this time, we're gonna let everybody know what the weather looks like all around the world, and we're gonna start right here in ATL. So let's get it, y'all.
Remix.
Morning show.
All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome out once again. I'm still feeling good off this weekend. Big up to everybody that tuned in to Sundays. We had a dope show brought through DJ Mark Battle. We did a dance mix, so go ahead later on and check that out. Had to do a little chopping up to make sure it could be visible to everybody, so we're gonna have that for y'all. Otherwise, go ahead and hit that like button, the subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell a friend it's on again. Hit that notification bell so they can know, you can know, and share the show. So that's how we go. All right, with that said, let's get right to the weather. Right here in the ATL, also known as Atlanta, Dirty South. We got a high today of 84 degrees. Yes, it's nice and warm. Next, let's take it to Cleveland, Ohio. That's right. Let's go up top. Cleveland, Ohio, today they got a high of 64 degrees. Not too warm, but it's gonna be all right. Big up to people up in Cleveland. Next, let's take it to Baltimore, Maryland. That's right. They got a high today of 79 degrees. 79 is cool, almost hitting that 80 mark. And now let's take it over to Houston, Texas. Big up to my people in the Texas area. They got a high today of 94. It's going to be John Blaze out there. So make sure y'all hydrate, get y'all water and all that. And now let's take it to the west side. Oakland, California. They got a high today of 71 degrees. Okay, let's take it from the U.S. land to the motherland. Let's take it to Accra, Ghana. That's right. They got a high today of 89 degrees. And last but not least, let's take it to Buffalo, New York, where they have a high today of 56 degrees. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cold, colder than the white man. But I tell you what is even colder than the white man, the white boy. That's right, the white boy that went into Buffalo and had the gun out, murdered our brothers and sisters, got to a white boy, another white man, and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're white. Let me not hurt you. Let me hurt everybody else." Now that's cold right there. Man, whew. Anyway, you know we're gonna get to it right here on Black Power Media, so stay tuned, y'all. And RIP to all the brothers and sisters that fell to the gun blast of this devil. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's what it is. Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning Show, yo. All right.
Peace, Remix Morning Show. We black again. Ha, man. Thank you, Doctor, for your weather reports and your info. You know,
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the white boy. That's my
Yeah.
thing for the day, man. I catch y'all next break. Peace.
No doubt, no doubt.
Peace,
Hey,
peace.
man, we're gonna take it straight to the news because we have a whole lot to cover in such little time. So we're gonna go ahead and slap the map real quick, and we'll be back. You heard?
Well, all right.
Man. Yes. I like how you did that. Come out, disappeared and came back. Y'all ain't even notice it, huh? No doubt.
Somebody
no doubt.
noticed, apparently.
Somebody noticed?
Somebody in the chat noticed.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a lot going on. We have a few different articles that we're hitting today. And I'm really beginning to totally dislike the fact that it's so much bullshit going on. We definitely have to bring in some more positive news. So forgive us, but of course certain things have to be addressed. As we all know by now, we know about the situation in Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? And it's more uncovering, and it's just such a. I mean, I don't know if sad is the proper word to use, and I don't know if tragedy is the proper word to use because it's just such a. I mean, it's an act of terror, and it's a reminder of where we are and the type of society we're in when you have this 18-year-old white boy who just last year it was stated that he made a threat in school and he was inside of they took him to some type of mental health facility for a day and a half. Then a month or so later he ends up purchasing weapons. You know what I'm saying? So he arrives, he travels 200 miles, takes a 3-hour trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a
in
3-hour trip.
In gear. He's already, by the time he's in his car, he's already geared up. He's got all his military equipment on. He's got his camera on, and as folks know, that he videotaped live, right? He live streamed on an app for most of it, part of his drive up there, so that folks could, whoever was watching this, could get the pre that leads up to it. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody could correct me. He actually wrote the word nigger, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere either on a gun or somewhere on his body or something like that. On his gun, yeah. So he clearly, and he had, and again, this was prepared and something that he had planned to do over a period of time. He had prepared a manifesto, which he had put up at the same time for folks to know why his claim, his rationale, why he said he was doing what he was doing, using what's commonly being referred to now as white replacement theory or replacement theory, which is really about the angst that white folks are saying that they are feeling about having their quote unquote country being taken away, or demographic shifts, where the actual claim of the theory is usually along the lines that Jewish folks in particular, it can have its different sections, but Jewish folks in particular are plotting the demise of the American white, the non-Jewish, the American Christian white, by having Latinos and Black folks and other folks of color in particular take their places in terms of jobs and positions of power in the country. And so therefore, they must now strike back and make sure that they help to create either a quote unquote civil war or straight out slaughter and murder and kill, because they think, as their history suggests, they will, right? That will stop the demographic shift and restore white men in particular, but white people overall, to the leadership or control of the country. So his manifesto was listing all of that out. And then, as we all know, he went to the grocery store, got out of his car, and immediately started shooting. So he started shooting people in the parking lot. He proceeded to the store. Inside the store, he started shooting again. He continued to shoot. A security guard, I think, who was a retired cop, actually took out his gun and started shooting at the suspect or at the person. But because the guy was so well armored, he was not able to penetrate the armor. And the guy just turned around, shot him and killed him, and then kept on shooting.
Yeah. I want to add on to what you were saying, because I know you stated about the word nigga on the gun. He also on the gun, it stated he put here's your reparations. You know what I'm saying? And then he had all types of different names of individuals who he supported and looked up to. And I know that it's being called a manifesto, but really this is a bunch of psycho babble. You know what I'm saying? Under the guise of what would be considered a manifesto, right? The dude was a fucking racist lunatic, and he said that.
Don't call him a lunatic. He wasn't crazy. I want us to be very careful about how we label this person, because there's already talk about him being mentally unwell.
No.
He's on the autism spectrum.
When I say lunatic, I don't mean mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? That's not. There's a difference between being a lunatic and just traditional mental illness where he can get some help. I'm not making no excuses from this motherfucker. So let's be clear about that. You know what I'm saying? There's absolutely no excuses for him. In fact,
I just want us to just be careful about the language that we use. That's all.
Yeah,
because, like I said, this narrative is already being floated about him being mentally unwell.
I mean,
so that's it. That's all.
I think there's a difference between being a lunatic and being mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? And we can take it to the definitions, and as far as that's concerned. But one of the things he said, he was to Kamal's point in regards to the whole replacement theory. It's they blame the Jews, elite Jews, they blame corporate leaders and politicians, and they say they intentionally dilute the white population by through permissive immigration and promoting diversity. This is a conspiracy theory that Brenton Tarrant, the white boy who massacred the 51 people over at the Christchurch Mosque in New Zealand. So this is one of his heroes, and this is one of the people that he spoke about in that quote unquote manifesto. You know what I mean? So he is he subscribes to the hate-filled white supremacy, and it's just like, man, I mean, I'm really just floored, for lack of better words, that we are still walking around acting like we're in some quote unquote post-racial America. We're acting like we're in a situation where we can pray it away, we can legislate it away, and that's not going to happen. These cats are purposely attacking soft targets. You know what I'm saying? The most cowardly nature. He studied where he was at. Of course, many of you who have been to Buffalo, you knew that he wouldn't go to certain hoods because of the fact that no matter how much armor he had, someone would end up fucking him up. But he decided to go to this grocery store where the youngest person was 32 years old, but most of the other folks were between the ages of 52 and 87. So you are hitting these elders, these folks who have lived 87 years, 70 something years, 60 something years with headshots. and you're so cowardly that you came through with fucking body armor because you didn't want your punk ass to get hit. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and rock because I'm kind of getting
Yeah, I did hear. So I did hear, and I've not read the manifesto. Apparently, 150 pages, which is nuts. But that he wasn't someone that was like deeply philosophical, or I don't know if I said that right, but deeply, ideological or ideologically sound. Literally, like someone that jumps around from different radical ideas and tries to put them all together and make them make sense. And what I really want to talk, to our people more and more about is the fact that, like you said, Kalanji, we're not in a post-racial society. We're honestly nearing what I think could honestly be like a civil war type situation. This is not an isolated incident. This is one of many. I think that we're seeing more and more that the guns are being stocked like crazy. I mean, I was just listening to the radio the other day, and this one guy was talking about, in Texas, there's a gun store where like people literally like they know when the gun shipment is coming in, and that day you just see this long line of like white people waiting for their guns. And I want us to just think realistically about the level of threat. Right now things are very controlled because right now things have not fallen apart completely. Society is still somewhat maintained. The FBI apparently is doing something to do, I don't know what they're doing, but some type of some counterintelligence work or whatever they say. But I think that there could be a time very soon where we're going to see that we're not prepared, because unfortunately a lot of our people don't want to talk about, the right to arm ourselves. And a lot of our allies, or so-called allies, whatever, are also like the anti-gun folks. So if we're being real, there's a movie on Amazon I think people should check out, because it's kind of like it's kind of spooky, because it really feels like right now. And I don't want us to forget, like, there's a lot going on in the economy. There's a lot going on. Like they're saying there's going to be a recession possibly this year or next year. Inflation, they're saying it's going to go higher. Things are just going to get worse. And this is not a good sign as far as like how the society will be able to maintain. There's a movie on Amazon. It's called American Refugee. Literally like the same things as far as the market tanking and all these things. And what happens is that the people who are running things are all the people who have the guns. And of course, that not many of them look like us. And there's a bunch of white boys who love Trump down south that are running things. And basically everyone who's, anti-gun, or, everyone who wasn't thinking about this threat that was just growing are basically left in a situation like, well, how do I get food? Someone stole all my food. These dudes that are loaded stole all my food. That's the type of thinking we have to think about, because like I said, this is a warning shot. These people are stocked, military level guns and armor, and not even that, just underground barracks, like things that we would never think about. And they're ready for this end, that they've been saying is going to come, where things just get so bad that it's uncontrollable, and we're not ready. So that's one thing, I'm hoping that our people get more alerted about, because like I said, it's not isolated. It's just going to keep continuing to worsen as much as things are worsening around us.
I saw a number of people from New York express about how frustrated and angry they were because the gun laws in New York State are extremely restrictive. It is really difficult to get a legal gun in New York. Obviously, it's not hard to get guns anywhere in America, but if you want to carry one legally, if you want to hopefully operate within the bounds of the law, that's a very difficult process. And people in our community, for whatever reasons, I don't know exactly what the gun laws are in New York, but I know here in the state of Maryland, a very also gun restrictive state, there are a lot of hoops to jump through, including classes, including costs, things that make owning a handgun legally very cost prohibitive and prohibitive in other ways. So the state is already setting it up for us to not be able to arm ourselves legally. And of course, a lot of people are not concerned about whether or not they are armed legally. And I respect that. And that's cool. But I'm concerned for a lot of things. For one, for this community in Buffalo specifically, from what I understand, that this grocery store is in a food desert, and that organizers and residents in this neighborhood in Buffalo had to really fight long and hard to get even this singular grocery store in their neighborhood. And for this place to be attacked like that, I mean, I'm trying not to get emotional thinking about the faces of the people that were murdered, because they look like people I knew. You know what I mean? I feel like I knew Miss Ruth. You know what I mean? Like I could look at these folks and be like, these are my community members. Even though I don't live there, these are still my community members. These are still my elders. These are still my brothers and my sisters. And the fact that the security guard, it was in fact armed, retired police officer, and still was not able to kill this terrorist. It makes me circle back to preparedness. Like, are we going to send Miss Ruth in the store with the 4.5? You know what I mean? And that's not beyond a reasonable doubt. But I'm glad that everybody who is here, so we can kind of have this conversation, because what does preparedness look like for us? What does being armed look like in a state where gun laws are extremely restrictive and prohibitive? What options do we exactly have to literally protect the most vulnerable from the most vile and the most dangerous? And this kid was 18 years old. And if you look back over the past 10 years of white mass shooters inspired by racism, they're young. Like, they are young. You go back and look at these fucking these mugshots of these kids. They are literally fucking kids. Dylan Roof was 17, 18 years old. And I'm not saying that I don't have any sympathy or empathy for him whatsoever. But it's the fact that their youth are being radicalized in such a way to incite violence. And where were the parents? You know what I'm saying? Where was the fathers? White parents are perfectly okay, I suppose, with their children being armed, being angry, having access to the internet, and not checking the kind of things that they are ingesting online. But on the other side, I can't even blame it on online. Racist violence and racism is passed down from generation to generation to generation. So all the people that are blaming Tucker Carlson and Fox News and Gab, I'm like, Sade, granddaddy was burning crosses way before the advention of the internet. So I think the right-wing media cycle has a part to play, but this is who America is. When the liberals talk about this is not who we are, this racism is on the fringe. Nope. This is an unbroken line of white racist terrorism against Black and brown communities. And this guy is just the latest example of that.
Tim, I wanted to pick up on that because, well, a couple of things. Speaking of language, I don't like to use the word radicalize with them because I think it gives radicals a bad name, right? So they're like, radical usually means getting to the root of a problem. And they're obviously not, right? There are terrorists. They're the very definition of what terrorism is. But I completely agree. I think the other thing is that, this 18-year-old is a manifestation, like you said, of not only the history of white supremacy, but what is generally now uncovered, like something that they felt they had to put in a box or use signaled language or be careful about how they express their racism. And I think that happened for like about 25, 30 years in terms of a cycle of American life where it wasn't as out front. But we've the sort of the Pandora's box of being overtly white supremacists, having elected officials who are who don't hide from their white supremacist views or their white nationalist views. You have Republicans who are senators and House of Representative folks, both at the federal level and on the state level, who are openly having these same kinds of overt white nationalist thoughts, which again help politicize these other folks to become their white nationalist foot soldiers, and the ones who will bring sort of stock terror to neighborhoods and communities where you can't predict, right? You cannot stop this kind of thing from happening with the level of guns that are on the street. And the other interesting thing too is like handguns are difficult to get, but long guns are not difficult to get, right? Those kind of things don't have the same restrictions in terms of getting them. So those things are open for folks to get, and these folks get them and they do their training and so forth. And because it's so random, it's impossible to stop because the ideas are already there. And once the ideas are there, the weaponry is actually the easier thing to get, right? But the ideas are there. And I agree. I just think that this is part of what America is. We've entered this period I would say almost since what I like the great so-called Great Recession in the Obama period, where open white supremacy and talking about replacement theory and somehow white folks believing that the demographic shifts are going to mean that they're going to be enslaved and not in control. For the fools who are never in control, it just gives them an excuse. And for the ones who think they're going to lose some political power, they are the ones who are helping to beat these drums to get these folks to do these crazy things. And again, I actually think legislation in a sane society, right, could work to do things to curb, but we're not in a sane society. We're in a society where, as you would state, like, you know, you have more rights as a gun owner than a woman has over control of her body. That's the society that we live in, right? Gun owners thinking about guns, protecting guns and people's rights and so forth to have those tools of destruction is far more important for the political class than thinking about a woman's right to control her body and her health care and so forth. That needs restrictions. But having white folks with guns, no restrictions are needed for that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of society we live in. And then lastly, I'll say, like, these liberals, like the Bidens and all the rest of it, because they have no answers. The only thing they'd want to do is to tell us to be cool, calm, collected, pray, and then go back and sit around and wait for the next shooting to happen. Because this is not the last shooting. There's going to be other shootings because that's the society that we live in. And it hasn't completely broken down yet. It's on its way, but this is a process. It's not, it's not going to be anarchy in the street one day. It's going to be the process that's happening now, where sort of a delusion of rights. People feel like they can get away with this stuff. They continue to get away with it. And because they have no fear that other things will take place to deter them from doing it, they will continue to do it.
You know what confuses me is folks keep talking about the shooter's only 18. Okay. We live in the United States. You only have in order for you to join the U.S. military, you have to be 18, 17 with parental consent. How old do you think these folks are who are going killing folks over in Afghanistan? How old do you think these soldiers are who are going to kill folks over in Somalia, who are going to kill folks in all parts of the world right now? These are U.S. soldiers who they recruit as early as 17 years old. So it's not that they're too young, because they're not too young to fight on behalf of the United States, but they're too young when it comes to terrorizing black folks. It's like, oh, well, his mind hasn't been fully developed, or he didn't know any better and all that type of stuff. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The reality is we live in a society that breeds murderers, that breeds assassin, that breeds killers. We live in a society that is that is unclear about who the target should be. You know what I'm saying? Instead of running around killing black folks, you should be worried about some of these politicians who are oppressing you. You should be worried about some of these other folks who are taking your liberties, not the old lady that's trying to go get some juice in the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you staking out this store, which I wouldn't be. It wouldn't surprise me when we talk about the store being in a quote unquote food desert. It wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't a part of a bigger group of individuals who might have sent his silly ass as the pawn to go do what the hell he had to do. You know what I'm saying? If he was quote unquote smart enough to write a quote unquote manifesto and to travel 3 hours away, I'm quite sure that he had more in his piece. And they found not only that particular AR, but I understand they found a rifle and another pistol in the car. So he had plans. If he was able to escape that particular situation, we can only imagine where else he might have gone. Remember, right here in Georgia, in Atlanta and surrounding areas, I believe it was last year, the year before, there was a white boy out here who went around shooting up the massage parlors, you know what I'm saying, which were primarily owned by Asians. And I believe he went to like 4 or 5 different spots before he was actually captured. You know, so we have to, as Tyranny stated earlier, man, we have to be a little bit wiser with our thoughts, because for some reason I'm under the belief that we are playing the role of the cowards by expecting some folks who traditionally haven't done anything to support our livelihood. We're expecting them to bring some sort of justice to the table. That's not going to happen, and it's never going to happen. So if we think that's going to happen, then we think that we're thinking ultimately.
Can I ask though, like, what's the solution? And I'm asking that because, we know we're out armed, and my solution to everyone is always like, listen, like, forget America, like, we got the Africa. I'd rather fight amongst my people for whatever than, I have no illusion that there will ever be a day where African people are safe. Even, if we are able to organize to a level where we have self-determination over our communities and things like that. I'm never of illusion that there'll never be a Tulsa situation where you have some radical white group that says, hey, look at them over there doing well. Let's go over there and just firebomb. Like, so, I don't know. I feel like, I've heard people say, well, the solution is we just gotta, anytime we see someone white come in our community, we just gotta check them. I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Like, is there?
Well, in some ways, not to move. That's not even a bad point to start with, right? Because, when we talk about, it's a whole bunch of different things that people could do and should do. Obviously, this is about us organizing and forming our own protection units, controlling our neighborhoods, controlling our blocks, right? Part of it is some of us can move to Africa, but there's 40 million Black folks here, 50 million Black folks here. It's just going to be a hard lift, right? But organizing in our community where we are, controlling resources, understanding why, what's happening around us, having something sophisticated as a political apparatus, having the ability to arm ourselves, to having the ability to protect ourselves. Again, these random acts that are hard to predict are things that are going to happen, but you're not that far off. If we can actually controlled pieces of territory, and then there were people who are coming into our areas, and we did not know, and we know we're in a state when people mean us harm, I have no problem with us saying that we need to stop people and make sure that there's a reason why they're there. Because I do think, ultimately, I don't think larger society is thinking like this, but we are in a state of war when people not only randomly kill us, but they purposefully kill us, right? So we have the random randos or random people who do things like this 18-year-old dude did, but we have the police, right? We have our neighborhoods which are disorganized and people act on each other. We have a lot of things that are happening. Unless we have a certain mentality that we need to build some structures and institutions and organizations that have some power and some say, and they can control and direct things, that we're never going to be able to break away and even think about being able to protect ourselves. There's always going to be sort of random conversations. People can train themselves individually, but that's not going to stop the random acts that happen of that nature, and it's not going to stop the directed, purposeful acts of governments and government institutions that also have enough firepower to always have control of us. So the only answer for me is that we have to definitely think about what does it mean to organize on a large scale basis, locally, nationally, internationally. You can't just not organize on the block, but you got to organize citywide. You can't just organize citywide. It's got to be statewide. It's got to be national. You have to have international friends, because you also have to have ways maybe to get out when you need to get out, to get back in when you need to get back in, to think about food supply lines, to think about other things that you need to do, that we need to do in order to do as much as possible. There is no utopian solution to it, because these folks are not going away either. But there are things that we do to make folks know, when you think about other places in the world, that even if you have the power to kill me, know that you're going to lose an arm in the process of it, and that may check you.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying like go to Africa as a utopian solution. Africa's obviously still colonized. Africa's still struggling with a different type of monster. My concern for us thinking long term in America with this level of violence is that we are a minority. We rely on other people to join in coalition with us if we're going to have that type of protection. And I again, for me, it's like I have a strong feeling that that can fall flat many times, as it has in the past, as other people have different allegiances. So, I just want to throw that in.
And I'm glad that you pointed it out. And to both you and Kamal's points, one of the things that we're currently working on is organizing organizations. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that the thing is, we have this elitist vanguard mentality, like we all have the answers. None of us have the fucking answers. Let's be clear about that. We have suggestions, and we have some working points that we can come together and try to maneuver together. But the whole vanguard mentality has to die, because there's no vanguard in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Most of these organizations don't have fucking 20 members that are active. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it funky. You know what I mean? And the majority of them aren't even training at all. You know, so when we talk about urban survival, when we talk about preparedness, when we're talking about firearm training and all of that shit, we have to be proactive, but we have to train together. One of the things that we offered years ago was cross training amongst organizations. And there's one particular organization, I'm not going to call in names because of the fact that I don't want to diss nobody. But it was one particular situation where one of these organizations who's been around for years, they had a quote unquote minister of defense, and he came to train with us. And I knew his wife and him. And when the next day, I remember getting a phone call from his wife, and she was like, look, such and such can't train with y'all anymore. I said, why not? You know, he came home all messed up, whatever, so on and so forth. You know, he's sore, whatever the case is. So I started laughing because of the fact that I knew them, and I thought that she was joking. I mean, surely you're not gonna have your wife call us to tell us that you can't train. You know what I'm saying? But it was the case. But yet we walk around with all these fucking medallions. We got all this tough talk, and we're talking about what we're gonna do against the state and all of that. But you won't bust a Concord grape in a fruit fight. You know what I'm saying? You're never too young and you're never too old to train. You know what I'm saying? There's no, whatever your disability is, we have something, even if it's a tap or something. Everybody plays a war. I mean, everybody plays a role in this particular war. In fact, it's not even a war, it's a massacre, because of the fact we're not returning on them like any civilized country would. You know, but we have to train together. We have to organize together. And that goes beyond just shout outs. It goes beyond just some fucking videos or some pics. You know what I mean? It has to be practical. And if it's not practical, it don't mean anything. If from the RemiX Morning Show and from Black Power Media, you don't get anything practical, then we're wasting your time. And I, as one of the owners of Black Power Media, I'll tell you right now, unsubscribe and leave. Because of the fact that if you're just here to be entertained, this is not an entertainment session over here. Not for me. When we say Black Power Media, for me, Black Power means something. It means achieving power. It's a goal. It's an objective. It's not just us coming together, shooting the shit and a bunch of theories. It's time to put shit into practice. And once we do that, then we could talk about preventive measures, because of the fact that that's part of it. But political education is at the forefront. It's the foundation for us to grow on. You know what I mean? The platform we have right now, I mean, you have warrior class every Saturday for free. For free. In my opinion, at this stage that we're in right now, that should be one of the most watched shows that we have. Not if we're constantly talking about being armed, if we're constantly talking about folks ambushing us and attacking us, so on and so forth, warrior class should be one of the number one shows that folks are watching. But since it's not a show that the untrained can comment and theorize on because it's practical, those numbers don't reflect it. And some of y'all might not like me saying that, but shit, we talk about war. What do you do in the case of war? Prepare. Folks are saying there's nobody to train them in their area. There's a brother that's been training over 50 years, from special forces to martial arts, so on and so forth, who's offering you classes right here on Black Power Media every Saturday at 1 p.m. EST. How many of y'all checking it out? Oh, you got other things to do? All right, let's move on. My bad. Forgive me for talking practical. Anybody else before we go to break?
We got some people running us some super chat bucks. Thank you, Latif. We appreciate you. Halima Candy ran us $5 and says, remember the WSRS, the White Supremacist Race Soldier Manifesto, is based on the Turner Diaries, the magnus opus of the race war. Thank you for that, Halima. And last but not least, someone just ran us some more bucks. and that is Dead Man Animations. The solution: organize and fight back. We don't stop till the U.S. empire is defeated. They are cowards and can't counter guerrilla warfare. We need to enact serious self-defense. Thank you so much for that, Dead Man Animations, for your super chat support here for Black Power Media.
I did see something in the chat, and I don't know about it, but someone was saying that there's a Ukraine connection. If anyone knows about that, I'm curious to hear.
So from what I understand, and y'all, I kind of wish Jackie was here because Jackie would probably be able to connect these dots. So in the Buffalo terrorist manifesto, he referenced as Kalanji said, the Christchurch shooter in New Zealand, who in their manifesto referenced the Azov battalion that is getting a lot of U.S. support in Ukraine fighting against Russia, if that's the connection that somebody was referring to.
Yeah, the only connection I know is similar to that is the idea that there are some similar manifestos and or ideological practices that white nationalists in the Ukraine. But quite frankly, because this white nationalist movement is an international, so it's not even limited to Ukraine, right? Just as this white nationalist, again, this overt turn and public-facing white nationalism is happening all across the world, which is based on Europeans whose countries start wars in other places, and then people seek to immigrate to get out of the warfare that these European countries help start. They go to these European countries thinking that that's where they're going to be safe, because of course these nations are willing to bomb other people's nation states as they try to protect their own. People try to get in there, and then again, these white folks locally who endorse either overtly or subvertly what these foreign policy these nations are doing, but then they don't want the folks who are of color in particular, right, or Muslims coming into quote unquote their country, which has opened up this whole international white nationalist umbrella ideology, and and a lot of them are connected, right? We don't know about their meetings, the phone calls, or whatever, but a lot of them, they talk strategy, whether or not they're like the same organization or not. But they talk strategy together. They go to conferences together. They figure out together what they're going to do and how they're going to act. What's going to be the platform that when they have to soften it to try to get votes, that they try to get votes out of it, right? So this is all a lot of it is tied together. And so even random acts, which may not, the person may not be formally connected to some larger operation or so forth. I just don't know, you know what I mean, based on what's been out there. But it doesn't mean that they're not influenced directly by what they see happening in other outfits, other organizations, other manifestos, books that they read and or have read, and what they took out of it. But we obviously, and other things that they've seen people do, because we, like as was stated earlier, like this mass shooting, it's not the first mass shooting, and it won't be the last mass shooting that's targeting our people, because these folks, the ones who are off the chain, will do whatever they think they can get away with, because they've now seeped into their brains that there's some worldwide plan to replace them, or they're just this is the latest iteration. But I don't even want to give that too much credit, because that's just part of a long line of white supremacist thought, right? Which is the foundations of this country and other settler colonial nation states, which emanates from Europe. That's what these folks think, and that's how these folks operate.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, listen, we're going to have, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have some guests on today who are family members and loved ones of and I hate to even say victims of the situation in Buffalo, but we're going to talk to some longtime friends, comrades, and some new family members that we will be supporting here at Black Power Media. But before we bring them on, we are going to take it to the ear doctor, going a quick little break. We'll be right back at you with a few of our guests to talk about plans, strategies, and their loss. So
No
stay
doubt.
tuned.
No doubt. Let me come in and lighten the mood. I ain't talking about my complexion. I'm gonna do a little artist spotlight real quick. So let's go ahead and get to it.
RemiX Morning Show.
Yes, sure.
All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the RemiX Morning Show. Big up to all the people, all the remixers, everybody in the chat room, and everybody that's tuned in. Make sure y'all share and let everybody know what's going down today. This is Big Tings right here. Now, let's get to an artist spotlight of a brother that y'all should all know. But if y'all don't know, I want to shine some light on him because he's been very big influence in this music. All right, who am I talking about? No other than George Washington Benson. That's right. George Washington Benson, straight out of Pittsburgh, PA. He is a jazz guitarist. He started off in 1960s. That's right, the 1960s, where he first started playing ukulele at 7 years old, went from playing ukulele to being 8 years old playing the guitar, and at nine years old, he started recording. He actually release 2 songs at 9 years old. And then going through working with different jazz musicians and bands. I mean, this brother right here he's a songwriter, singer, and guitarist. He worked with different bands throughout the time, but then he first put out his first album when he was 21 years old called The New Boss Guitar. And this album had artists like Lonnie Smith, Ronnie Cuber on there. And he also got with Miles Davis on his album, Miles in the Sky, and played the guitar for that. So 1970 came, he put out this album, Breezin'. Now this has songs like Masquerade. This right here was a Grammy Award winning song. Actually got Grammy Record of the Year for that one. He toured with Minnie Riperton, and he also, even a tidbit here, he played guitar on Another Star on Stevie Wonder's album. I gotta say, he's one of the, he also did The Greatest Love of All on Muhammad Ali's Greatest biopic, which was redone by Whitney Houston. Another Grammy Award winning song on Broadway on his Weekend in LA album. And the 80s is when he went from jazz to R&B and got the top charts on that with songs like Give Me the Night and Turn Your Love Around. This is when he got with Quincy Jones. So he's been doing it for a minute. 2000, he dropped his last album, which was Absolute Benson. And he also has an honorary music degree with Berklee College of Music. Now, this brother has done over 36 live studio albums, 8 live albums, 21 compilation albums. Man, when we talking about a real live musician and a master of guitar going from the 60s all the way till now, George Benson, y'all better recognize. And that's our artist spotlight for today. Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning Show. Now we do. Yeah.
Appreciate George Benson. Thank you for that highlight. I put sort of George Benson and like Roy Ayers kind of in the same category, in the same box, because whom they feature on their records, like Donny Hathaway and Bill Withers and Minnie Riperton, as Air Doctor say. I mean, it's a talent to be able to showcase other people's talents and to put them in the fore. You know what I mean? So shout out to George Benson. Shout out to Pittsburgh. I didn't know he was from Pittsburgh.
Right. Hey, that's it, man. I gotta say, some of my favorite songs come from this brother. So I appreciate what he's done for the year.
I got no disputes about George Benson being honored.
Yeah, no doubt.
And his version of Greatest Love of All was better than Whitney's, just to put that out.
You know, I mean, originals usually are like that. But that's your artist spotlight for the day. Catch you on next break. Peace.
Thank you, Air Doctor. Thank you.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Air Doctor, for the George Benson in the building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of our folks in the chat, so on and so forth.
Shout out to Tina Lulu. Tina Lulu Mac ran us some bucks. Thank you, Tina Lulu. Tina Lulu's watching us from California, so it is very early in the morning. So we appreciate our West Coast people getting up with the Remix Morning Show.
No doubt. We appreciate you all. We're gonna go to some guests real quick, so stay tuned. We're checking out the Remix Morning Show, and we'll be right back at you in a couple seconds. Peace, good people. How y'all doing this morning?
Peace, brother.
Okay. Definitely glad to have you on today. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show here at Black Power Media. Would love to have had you on under different circumstances, but of course, today we wanted to talk to you all because we understand that that there is a need and a demand for understanding and justice. First and foremost, what I would like to do is have you all introduce yourselves to our audience. I know that you're here representing two families, one being Mama Jerry Chapman Talley, and the other being Mama Catherine Massey. So if you all don't mind introducing yourselves, and we'll take it from there.
My name is Lakeisha Divine Chapman, and I am the niece of Jerry Talley.
I'm Adrienne Massey. I'm a niece of Catherine Massey.
My name is Elizabeth Howard. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and my aunt is Geraldine Talley.
Right on. So definitely, of course, I know Divine, Peace Divine. I've been knowing Divine for at least a dozen or more years, and she's always been a positive. How can I say this? Soft spoken but serious sister. So
Yes.
To see her in this other light, and to speak to her over the past several days, it's code red. So I definitely wanted to get you all on. And of course, Adrienne, we have a mutual comrade as well, Sister Ruth. So definitely thanks for that. I want to, if possible, start off with an introduction of your family member, and then we want to get into this monster who came along and stole our community member and our family member because of the fact that it impacted and affected us all in different ways. But of course, you all closer because of the obvious reasons. So I'm gonna start with you, Adrienne, and we can kind of go clockwise if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine. My Aunt Cat, she was like the matriarch of our family. She held our family down. She held our family together. She was in everything possible that was about goodness, doing the right thing, being there for the right person, taking care of business, getting things done. City Hall, Challenger, Langston Hughes, anything you could think of, just everything. The union at work, she was always a part of something that meant something that was important, that was going to make a difference and make a change for the positive. And that was our Aunt Cat. I don't feel like, me personally, and my family, I don't feel like her life was cut short, but she lived a wonderful life because she was a wonderful person and she was involved in a lot of things. So my heart isn't heavy. I'm a little saddened that my aunt is gone, but I spent a lot of time with my aunt. My aunt did wonderful things. She was an awesome person. He cut her life short, but it was in God's plan, and that's how I look at it, and that's how I feel. So I'm at peace with my aunt being somewhere else. She lived a full life. This coward, he just started his life. He lost his life. My aunt is in a new place, doing a new thing. That's how I feel. And I'm comfortable with it. I can't have hate in my heart to let him think he won, because he did not. We working and doing things right now in her behalf to uplift her and just keep her legacy going. So to me, he hasn't done anything to me. And our family is strong like that. So I'm good with it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna we appreciate your words and your thoughts. Divine or Lizzie, you want to chime in?
B, I'll let you go.
I'm sorry. No. You good. You good. We can start you, Divine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my aunt, she was the life of the party. She was just the life of the party, like just naturally happy. She's always happy. all of her great nieces and great nephews knew her, and she knew them. That's how big she was to us. She's like mommy auntie. She would throw all of the cookouts. She would get the family together, and you know, like the other lady said, all of these victims' life were cut short. They didn't deserve it. My aunt, she was just beginning. You know, she was getting ready to get married. They were getting ready to travel the world, and her life was just cut short. And I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted of the act of violence. Hate. People actually teach people to hate instead of teaching people to love. Love is love, and this has to stop. It has to stop.
Right on. I appreciate your words as well, Divine. Would you like to add on?
I'm gonna echo my cousin's sentiment. Yeah, my aunt was big. She was meek. She was beautiful. She was docile. She was sweet. The day that her life was taken, and the day that he did rob her of the rest of her life, she was young. She was a baby. And as my cousin said, she was just getting started. She lived a big, beautiful life, but there was so much more life to live. And I understand Allah's plan. I understand that, it was already written. However, I don't like this chapter of this book. And the way that it happened is disgusting. The way that it happened is messed up because it was allowed to happen. Because, legislation, and we can go through the list of the reasons why. But I'm on this call with you today, Kalonji, and you know my heart, because you know my heart. I'm a lover. I'm peace before anything. But right now, I don't have that sentiment. Right now, I'm vexed, and I do want to, and I want to uplift my aunt's honor, and I want to continue her legacy. But I also want to fight this because other families that look like us will be affected if we don't do anything. And not a protest, not marching with our fists in the air. We have to figure out what we need to do to mitigate this.
You faded out a little bit, Divine. Peace. Okay. Yeah, you faded out. You want to log out and log back in, or can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. We hear you. Yeah. So, and you said, it's important. Lizzie, can you mute your mic for a second? We're getting an echo sometime when other folks are speaking. So when each one's speaking, we can kind of just mute so that we won't, get that feedback. But and of course we've talked, Divine, in regards to your feelings and sentiments, and of course, knowing me, I echo. And indeed, with what all of you ladies are saying, I'm understanding, because as an organizer and a lover of our people, I understand that we have different types of emotions, so on and so forth. But I also understand that, as Divine stated, this is something that that must be stopped, and we have to come up with preventive measures in order to survive this place that we currently live in, this evil place, this evil society in which we live in. Divine, I wanted to ask you, like, you stated, you're about peace and love, so on and so forth. With this situation, with this this monster who robbed you of your family member, what would justice look like to you?
Kalonji, that's a great question, and I don't know if I have an answer for that yet. And I think that's why I'm here today. I'm not sure. There's so many things I want to say, and I know that logically this one doesn't make sense. I just want my aunt back, right? Period. Right. I know that can't happen, right? Physically, spiritually, I know that can't happen, but I don't know what justice looks like because I'm lost right now. You feel me? Like, the fact that this happened so close to home, we've been dealing with this for a long time in America. As a Black person, we've been dealing with injustices all our lives to some degree. We've lost people. People have transitioned in our lives. I understand life, I understand death, but this hits differently. And I don't know what justice looks like, yo. I'm not sure. There's a part of me that wants to go and purchase a rifle and shoot up his family, right? Is that justice? I don't know. Is it right? I don't know. I don't know what to do. But something has to be done. I know that.
Right on. Adrian, you have something you want to say? Or?
Yes, I just want to say my heart goes out to all the families, to everybody. But for me, and what my aunt represented, she loved the kids. She loved the kids. We got to start at home, because these kids out here, the people, this generation out here, this younger generation, I'm 54, they off the chain. I've never seen the disrespect, the lack of courtesy. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So we need to teach our kids to love the next kid and to show them, not saying that my kids or whoever kids are better, but somebody got to guide our babies, because we're letting down a generation. I've never seen the level of disrespect or disregard. It's disgusting. What are we doing? What are we doing as parents? Because my kids, I teach them to love all kids, any nationality. I don't care any type of person, anything that we may think is strange. Because to me, as Black people, sometimes we think we are so, I don't know, sometimes we're looked at as we all got some challenges, and we all need to work on some things, but we definitely need to correct our kids at all levels. We need to correct our kids and correct or help the kid next door, or the one that's walking down the street, or the one you thinking is doing the wrong thing. Baby, let me talk to you. Honey, let me talk to you. It's just, we can't let them continue to keep going on like we going. We can't keep shoving the doggone phone in their hand and letting that telephone babysit our kids. We cannot.
And I agree with what you're saying right there in regards to, our kids. You know what I'm saying? But with all due respect, this is an admitted, confessed racist who hates us for being us. And this is a young man, because, and I'm specifically saying young man because of the fact that the mass media will paint him to be a boy. You understand what I'm saying? But when it comes to folks from our community, they'd be 16 and they're men. You understand what I'm saying? And they want to try him as adults. But this is a boy, a man who traveled 3 hours, 200 miles to carry out this assault on not Miss Massey, you know what I'm saying, with all due respect, not Miss Tally, but on the Black community. You understand what I'm saying? He came with the intent to murder whoever he saw that looked like us. It is unfortunate that, as Divine stated, that this tragedy visited your homes, right? But it would have been us if we would have been there. You know what I'm saying? Or the boy who had the phone, or whoever the case is, because he hated us. How do we deal with that? Because I think that sometimes what we do, and I understand, I like the fact that Divine said, right now I don't have the answers. I don't know. Because it's not a simple solution to anything or anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not just something where folks say, oh, we just going to do this, and we throw out blanket statements. We do that when we are unorganized. So it's important for us to be a part of an organizations, because then you can strategize and you can have a think tank and a collective that can back you, and we can possibly come up with preventive measures. What happened was he targeted what we call soft targets. You know what I'm saying? We know Buffalo. Right? He didn't go into certain hoods on purpose, right? He knew where to go and where not to go. He already saw, because he staked it out the day before. He saw what type of people were there. He saw there was a security guard, and blessings to the security guard who tried to fight him off. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he knew that, he knew what to come with and how to deal with it. So I ask, you know, out of love and respect, what do you all see as next steps, or do you have the answers to that, or you know, what would you like to see happen? I'll ask you. I'll start with Lizzie, and then we can go back to Mama Adrian as well, if that's cool.
What I would like to see happen, because you know, we can get together 20 people, 100 people, 500 people, but we all have to be on that same page. We all have to have that same energy so we can serve justice. Like, I know, like Keisha said, no, I don't know what justice looked like, because how they arrested him, that wasn't justice. How he came out of Thompson and surrendered, and they just politely put him in handcuffs, that wasn't my definition of justice, of what he went in and took all of those lives away. So what I would like to see as a Black community is us getting together and being on that same page, because the energy is horrible. The energy is horrible out here. And if we're not on that same page and have that same energy, I don't know if justice will be served.
Right.
I don't know how it can be served if we're not on that same accord.
Yes, and that's a good point, and I'm glad that you know, you made that statement as well. Adrian, you had something you wanted to touch on?
I don't justice looks like either. I just know that, like she said, the energy that we have to keep that energy and keep it moving for our families, and don't stop it. Don't, like she said, let's not get together 10, 50, 100, 200 people and talk about it, and then in another month or two it fade out. We're not fade out people. So I'm not fading out. We got to move on and press on. As my aunt would say, we need to carry on. I'm ready. Whatever we need to do, it's time to start now.
Right on. I have been speaking again. I've been speaking to Divine and a few other comrades who are in that area and from that area. So our organization, FTP, we're committed to joining in and assisting in organizing and structuring, because the unfortunate thing, again, when we're unprepared and we have these quote unquote tragedies and these assaults and these attacks, it's like we're starting from scratch every time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, now we gotta, okay, boom. When we already know that, you know, as I stated early on the show, unfortunately, Black folks in America are moving targets. And until, one of the things we do in training, right, we don't go to the range and just shoot at a target because of the fact that the target's not shooting back. So if you don't prepare yourself mentally, when you're in a situation, you might freeze up. So we might do a paintball simulation. So at least you know that, you know, oh, I don't want to get hit. You know what I'm saying? So with training and with organizing and with structure, there's preventive measures to organize community. And that's what we would like to see done across the board, because we can no longer be targets. I really, really cannot stress the fact that I appreciate you all coming on our platform at such an early stage. We know that this just happened, and I hope that with all that I'm saying and that I've said, that it has been taken with love, and it's not a situation where, you know what I'm saying, where I'm trying to tell you what to do or what should be done or any of that. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The reality is we must work together in order for us to be successful. You know, so I'm hoping that, you know, the masses and the tallies, you all, you know what I'm saying, you have a quick introduction. You know, hopefully it can grow and it can maneuver, and you don't just get caught up in what a lot of these crooked attorneys and these opportunists are coming at you with, because of the fact that they're vultures. And I call them grave robbers, because what they do is they wait till someone is attacked or dies, and they swoop down during your moments of vulnerability. And the next thing you know, you're saying and talking about some shit that you had no plans on talking about. They're representing you. You might get a check. You get that spotlight. And as one of you stated earlier, a couple months down the line, you forgot about this particular tragedy and you're out fighting and left alone. I've seen it happen so many times, you know. So I'm hoping that you all continue to, with your strength, continue to fight. You have a platform here that you can come speak on and say what you like. You know what I'm saying? If you have to use the Lauryn Hill theory and add a motherfucker so the ignorant niggas hear you, then do that. You know what I'm saying? We're not CNN. We're not none of these other corporate backed and sponsored platforms that only want to hear you talk about how saddened you are and, you know, and can't we all just get along? No, we can't all get along until shit is equal. And it's not equal, and it's not going to be equal until we come with the ultimate equalizer. Any last words you all like to say? I don't want to hold you up all day, but just know that we're with you and we're willing to support in whatever fashion or form we can. We got to unmute.
I'm sorry. I just want to say I appreciate you for having me on. I appreciate you ladies. I think we should get together, like he said, and try to do some things. And stay prayerful, stay positive, and don't let him steal your joy. Keep all your happy and good thoughts, because that's what's keeping me going. You can never let him think he won, because he did not. He absolutely did not. Because I know you got wonderful memories, and you just can't let him think he won. And just be strong, and we will get through this, because we got to get to the next step and the next step, and we got to just keep pushing on. Thank
you. Same way, Adrian, and my cousin is in Buffalo. I'll be out there next week, so definitely would like to sit and connect and collaborate and build. Kalonji, I appreciate you for just giving us an outlet to speak truth. And, you know, we have to recognize real fast that what he did is he affected, and he didn't win, Adrian, but he did have an effect. And we have to recognize that. And not only him, also Buffalo Police Department, you know, the casual placing of the hand as he's being put into the car. All of that has to be realized that, you know, as you said, our kids, we have to focus on our kids. But even when we do focus on our kid, because I have an 18-year-old that's going to University of Miami, and he's raised well along with my other two, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're Black. And that's what we're going to have to focus on. And how do we use our strength and power to move forward in this country without fear, without neglect, without, you know, fear, again, of walking the street, being Black. And that's where justice will come from. But how do we get there? I'm not sure yet. So, Kalonji, I know we will be working together. Adrian, you know, we family now. Right. We that's it. We connected, and we have to move forward, because you already know what we need to do and what we're about to do. So this is just the beginning. We gotta continue.
Right. I appreciate that.
I'm ecstatic to be here this morning. I appreciate you. This right here is a great start. This is where we start from, and in keeping that same energy. And this is just a start. This is the start of coming together, getting together as a whole, a collective, and because this is just, it's been going on too long, too long, and I'm so sick and tired of it. I am. The energy, we like Miss Adrian said, we need to keep the same energy flowing, happy energy, happy thoughts, and keep that going and pass that on. We are a big ball of electricity. We can feel energy. We can pass that, our good energy, on, and hopefully it is stick to everybody. I mean, it's just time to come together. It is.
No doubt. Well, hey man, I definitely appreciate you all coming on to the platform and joining us here today. Looking forward to organizing with you all. I will see you soon, and you know, keep up the good fight, and we're gonna win in spite of ourselves. And yeah, let's not let this bastard rob us, because from what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding, we as a people lost we lost 10 beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? For those who aren't here today with us, we extend our condolences and however we can assist platform or organizationally. You know what I'm saying? But keep up the good fight. We're gonna win. We're gonna win, and everything's gonna be what we needed to be. All right. So again, gratitude for coming on board. Again, we thank you all, and we'll be in touch and we'll keep the people abreast. You've been checking out the RemiX Morning Show live, and we've been talking about the situation in Buffalo. Some of our beautiful elders who have transitioned, who were robbed of their lives, and some of their beautiful family members. So stay tuned. RemiX Morning Show will be right back at you.
Yeah, it's so sad when people, it's one thing to lose a loved one when you have time to just to say goodbye, or you have an expectation. And so there's some time on your hands. But when you have to get a phone call, you even see something on TV, and you have to deal with the immediate loss of somebody in such a disgusting way. There's just more power to those folks who even showing up and coming on and talking about their family members, and understandably not necessarily knowing what justice means for them right now collectively, but individually just in a probably, in a state of shock and just trying to work day to day to understand that somebody that they've loved and supported and who supported them is no longer with them, to continue on sort of leading lives together. So again, thank you for just coming on and sharing how they're feeling and what they like to see happen. So,
and what they said is making me shift the way that I'm looking at this. Ever since Saturday, I've been very sad. I've been depressed. I've been mourning. All of these events where Black people are massacred by racists, they all don't touch me the way that Buffalo touched me, and I can't say why. Just looking at the faces of those people again, I felt like I knew them. And despite like us being in obvious mourning, what those sisters just said in terms of we're going to celebrate the joy and the happiness of our loved ones' lives. And I know that we are sad, but now is the time to redirect that energy, to retransform that sadness into action. If it's anger, then fuck it, let it be anger. But we're gonna remember them and not be defeated.
I want to first of all, I want to shout out our sister Rue from the Buffalo Soldiers Women's Gun Club, who's a good friend of Sister Adrian, and I know that she will be providing some free classes in coming weeks for residents of Buffalo, virtual free classes in regards to getting certified and licensed to carry, and to try to maneuver past some of those New York gun laws. So definitely shout out to her and to, as you mentioned, all of the sisters who came on board, the family members. It was difficult to do that interview for a couple different reasons. You know what I'm saying? For one, like I said, I've been knowing Divine for years. She's been a supporter of our organization for forever. She's an artist. She's a part of a hip hop group, Star Child, and they're a real dope group. They've done numerous things together. So just to see her mood and her mode is always, it reminds me of what's our people name? I'm cool like that. Butterfly and Diggable Planet. She always has that type of chill vibe. and to see the pain and the anger and the hurt between the three sisters and of course the other family members, to just sit here and have to, you know, figure out how not to number one, get too emotional myself, but at the same time also try to be sensitive as possible because of the fact that this just happened. It's not like a month later. It's not like down the line when folks had the opportunity to collect their thoughts. So, you know, I'm grateful to them and their community. And I'm hoping that we, Black Power Media, and all of our affiliates and all of our folks in the chat, so on and so forth, that we can get together and do practical things to support not only these efforts, but future efforts, because of the fact that, you know, this is, you know, wars is protracted. It's not a, you know, this ain't the last, ain't the first and it ain't the last. You know, folks keep talking about Trump. This shit began with our encounter. You know, it didn't just come along because a white boy was elected into office. You know, so we got to keep that in mind. But anyway, I think we got some time
for the ear doctor. If I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
yes. That's what I was going to say. You took the words right on.
My bad.
Great interview. It's good seeing them sisters, strong sisters, come on and talk about what they talked about. There's a lot dealing with, and like you said, we all got to organize and get this together because right now is the time. All right, well, we're gonna go and switch it up real quick, do a quick artist spotlight. So let's get to it right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Let's get it.
All right. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And right now we're going to do a quick break, get to another artist spotlight. When we talk about hip hop and we talk about how East Coast brought it, we got to also talk about West Coast too. And one of the biggest West Coast pioneers we're going to talk about today is no other than, that's right, King T. King T, also known as Roger McBride. Straight out of Compton, California. He emerged during the 80s. He came out in 1988 with Acting a Fool. That was his first album. He also had singles like Payback, Some Mother, The Coolest, and Bass Remix. These were known as hip-hop classics back in the 80s through the 90s. He primarily worked with DJ Pooh. That's right, DJ Pooh, who's down with Ice Cube and all them. Responsible also for the rise of the Alcoholics. He also is a CEO of his own record label. He pretty much, like I said, he started back in December 1968, where he attended school and he was rocking alongside Ice-T and Kid Frost, who were widely known as the pioneers of West Coast hip hop. So he was doing this for a while. He brought through the Alcoholics, also Exhibit. He got to work with Dr. Dre, and also was a big influence for Biggie Smalls, where Biggie Smalls mimicked his deep voice and flow and rhyme style. So when you're looking at who gave who to what, Notorious Big, yes, he did say King T was one of his biggest influences. King T, he has over 5 studio albums, starting back from 88 all the way to 2002. And like I said, his last album he worked with Dr. Dre. And one of the first, when he talks about gangster hip hop, if even that was something we invented, it was just talking about what was going on in the community at the time. So I got to give a big up to King T. Big up to King T of West Coast hip hop for pioneering what you pioneered. Now let's get back to the Remix Morning Show. Now we do.
Did you say mimic?
Oh shit!
Biggie didn't mimic. It's not. It's one thing to say he was influenced by.
Check out his flow. Check out, even Biggie said it.
He used the word mimic.
I mean, when you rock another person's flow and style,
No, that's your word, son. That's your word. This is fighting. Yeah, I'll come to where you at.
Yo.
Compton put Brooklyn on the
about
map.
Biggie.
See, for folks who want to ask why we don't have renegade culture anymore, this is an example right here. Talking about Biggie mimicked. I mean, come on, stop it here, doctor. And he's the DJ. That's the shit. This is off the hook.
Hey,
I got a hot flash on that.
So he knows what he's talking about. Yes, I am
Thank you.
inclined to listen to Ear Doctor's characterization of Biggie
boy.
being influenced by King T, because Ear Doctor knows he's the Ear Doctor.
There's a split. There's an obvious split. There's an obvious
Hey,
split.
look, man. Ear Doctor's deaf. Tone deaf. But anyway,
and actually, King T paid homage back to Biggie on 6 in the Morning track he did on his Thy Kingdom Come album. So that's all I gotta say. I'm just doing the math and the history. But y'all do what y'all want. Thank y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
I don't know. To answer
I
your
don't know
question,
about that
Ricky,
either.
yeah, I mean, think about it. I don't know.
I love it when Ear Doctor comes and stirs the pot. Just throw Kamal all the way off.
I mean, Kamal had a hot
what
flash.
the hell?
I'm still confused with Kamal's hot flash, but that's a whole nother story. Between that,
hey, shout out to Lady K Mosley and to Kamari for running us some super chats during Kalanji's interview. We appreciate y'all's support. We appreciate you guys recognizing that what you're getting here, you don't get from other places. So the fact that you all reciprocate that materially is greatly appreciated. Thank you all, remixers.
And Lady K Mosley, thank you. Also, we saw the tag where you tagged us with the t-shirt and mug purchase. For those of you who have supported the merch, definitely, take some pictures with it, tag us, let the folks know how that we are as fly as we say we are, because some people don't believe us, you know what I mean, because they don't really be checking us out. But even though some of these cats, they just born again haters, some of y'all be peeking. Shout out to the haters that's peeking up in here. We see you. It's okay.
Speaking of merch, I got to listen to this tie-in. Speaking of merch, and lightening the mood, I have a story. I didn't find the story, but I just thought it was an interesting story. It's not like I found the story, but when I saw it, I was like,
already.
Yo.
Go ahead.
So your favorite organizer, Kalanji,
thanks.
Controversial figure Sean King called out for clothing line debacle. So first of all, I'm sorry about this wide picture of Sean, who is not black at all, but that's another discussion.
You don't know that.
So Sean King is back again, but this time he set his sights on cheating people. So whoever wrote this article, first of all, I'm like, yo, B, they going in already. So his private clothing line, a real one. Okay. That's a real one? Yeah. Really? Is that's some humor in that? Some irony, I guess? Okay.
Didn't we talk about this? We talked about this before, where he was allegedly sourcing the cotton for the t-shirts from Tanzania or somewhere, Mozambique. Like, this is fresh cotton from Mozambique.
On
$75.
Instagram, it's 100% organic. It says black owned from the speed to the shipping and everything in between. Now, how can it be black owned when the owner of it is white? I don't understand that, but okay.
Are you suggesting that man is white? Come on. I mean, I've been hearing you say this for a few years.
Can I throw that back?
I'm just saying. I'm just curious.
No, wait. Before you do, let me finish this line of the story. We get it all to it. So apparently his hoodies cost $165.
Stop.
He's selling hoodies, and the tie in there for $165. But patrons have been complaining and have now taken to social media that they are not after they pay their money, they're not getting their merchandise. So 8 months after this one particular person, Ashley Ray, has stated, and she's not the only one, that after she's paid, she said that Sean King launched a private clothing line that sold $165 hoodies. That since October when she purchased, she has not gotten her order. It's 8 months ago.
Supply chain issues. Duh, we have a supply chain
issues.
The man's getting it. He's getting it driven. He's getting it driven from the continent. I mean,
driven from the continent.
Somebody swimming across seas with a bag that has her name on it, and she
supply chain issues. Y'all impatient. Y'all are impatient.
I dare y'all expect faster service in 8 months.
Hold up. Did you say is it $165 for a hoodie? Is that correct?
Yeah, $165 for the hoodie, B.
Damn. I mean, wow.
Is it embroidered? Like, is it something
I wouldn't
special?
give a damn what it
His
was.
face is on it. Sean King's
listen.
black face is on there.
No.
That's what you're paying for.
No.
Listen, if I'm paying $165 for a hoodie, somebody better be in it. You know what I'm saying? It might be a bounty or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the hell out of here. It's gonna wear me. It's gonna just hop on me for $165. I ain't that cool. Not for a hoodie. Come on, man. Shit.
And he calls it the real one. Really, Sean?
Hey, man, you know.
Really?
So,
Hey,
but
man.
there's some other aspects to this, if I'm not mistaken, because didn't he, like, he has erased some portions of this shop off the internet. If the thread I'm trying to recall at the top of my head, maybe I'm making that up. Never mind. Don't listen. But hold on, I want to circle back to something here, Kamal, because I can understand questioning Sean King's racial background, because he's been, when it was all a Twitter, pardon the pun, it was just the slowest admission to blackness I'd ever seen, right? Like, I don't see the point of making people wonder, am I black or whatever, but my point is, somebody with your skin complexion, are you really the one to be questioning?
I'm the checker, yeah. If you lighter than me and you got straighter hair than me, you can't be allowed in. That's I'm the reverse paper bag test. So
we call it
the cutoff.
The 2% black test. So you know,
because I don't see that much difference in shading, coloring wise, between.
Importantly, I didn't come up with a made up story about my blackness, so I don't care what his complexion is. I'm more concerned about the fact that this dude gets on and says that his mama told him she had an affair with some neighbor or some black dude, and that's how he knows he's black. The dude ain't never come out and say it. And why even go? If you want to enter in to do justice work, do justice work.
Right.
But why come up with stories about your blackness, which you know you're doing for credibility, which you then do to raise money, to center yourself in movement, to get resources, and to go to a black university, all of that. I mean, it's like, so it comes off like a scam. So I don't care about his light skinness in that sense. I care about the scam.
So that's what it is. So it really has nothing to do with what Kim's saying. Kim is just trying to stoke the fire, and you don't really think.
No, yeah, I see. You seem to be laughing though, like you kind of believe that she has some truth in what she's saying.
No, I'm just trying to find out.
That's what I felt.
I mean, I'm just trying to find out.
I used to do Kim agreeing on air, so so I feel a certain way about it.
I'm just trying to find out if Sean King is really 2% black, or what the situation is. You know, and y'all bombing
his black daddy, who had the affair with his white mama, just needs to come out and say, "That's my son. Y'all best to get the fuck up off of it." That he's still a scammer, but at least that particular scam is put to rest.
It's a different type of scam.
It is. I don't know, because again, I have translucent cousins. I have cousins you can see through. You know what I'm saying? Who are black people. You know what I'm saying? So when I see Sean King and people questioning whether, again, I don't give a fuck about Sean King. Let me just say that outright. I'm not defending Sean King, but I know people of his shading that get mistaken for not being black when they are black. So
it's just about, I know it's all about the scam. I mean, again, if he wants to show some, if his mom wants to come on and be like, yeah, baby, I had an affair with that black man, huh?
Run us a 23andMe, some ancestry.
Give me something. Or have the mama come out and confirm. That's right. I cheated on your white daddy with this black man. His dick was bigger. Let's do a stereotype. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but I did that. And that out of that love child, Sean King is that love child. I need to back the fuck up off of my black son. Something. Give me something. But I don't hear all that. Listen, and for some reason, he's escaped the same thing. What's the white woman from NAACP?
Oh, Rachel Dolezal. But that's because
he's escaped all of that, right?
That's because her two white parents came out and was like, Rachel is Swedish. I don't know what the fuck Rachel done told y'all, but Rachel is very white out here. I haven't seen neither of Sean King's parents, and I don't know his lineage, and I don't want us to spend too much time on Sean King.
I suspect that the mama's getting hit off, and so she's like, look. This hustle is good for the whole fam. I'm not saying shit. That's mine. I don't know personally. I don't know.
Hey man, I'm just hoping that Sean King don't run up on you. That's all I'm saying, man.
Hey, come out
Case
ready.
of light on light crime. But
Oh,
anyway,
I'm having another hot flash. Sean King, run up on me. Fuck out here. What the fuck is wrong with you?
you and Jared got a tag team against him. I'll referee
I
because
don't
you
need
know
no tag team. Fucking Sean.
okay,
What the
okay,
fuck is wrong with y'all?
That sounds like a benefit on Black Power Media. What you think?
I'm not fighting no Sean King. What's wrong with you? You fight. Why don't you go fight Jam Master Jay? What's that nigga name? That dude. What's his name? That dude you like so much?
Oh,
The gun
Grandmaster
dude.
Jay?
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yo, you go fight that dude.
I'm gonna fight that man. What's wrong with you, man? I'm non-violent.
Hold on. Why y'all bringing out Jam Master Jay? Jam Master Jay is deceased out here.
I know. I couldn't remember his name. I was like,
He
isn't
getting
it
the wrong
Jam
name. You want me to go
Jay
fight
Master
Jam
or
Master
something
Jay?
like that? You know what I mean?
Anyway, I don't even know who he talking about. Moving right along.
Shout out Franny French. Thank you, Franny French, for your super chat. Franny French says that she just received her BPM merch in the mail and she's going to wear it with pride. I love you, Franny French. Franny French, white as shit, wearing her Black Power Media shit with pride. Come through, Franny French. Come through, Franny French.
said white as shit. Yeah.
I mean, in a good way, though. You know.
I don't even know how I got here. Delaware State. Y'all familiar with that Delaware State article?
Yes.
You want to lead with that, Kim?
Sure. I can. Now I'm not looking at the article, but I've read the story, and maybe you guys can help me fill in some details. Go ahead. Delaware State is a historically Black college, as you all hopefully know, and if you didn't, you have already surmised, based out of Delaware. And their ladies lacrosse team was traveling through Georgia. I don't know if they were traveling for a tournament or a match. I'm going to assume that they were. And they were stopped, Kalanji, I'm sure you know specifically where in Georgia they were stopped. But when they were stopped for a routine traffic infraction, probably bullshit traffic infraction, driving through Georgia, being Black, they were subjected to really unreasonable search and seizure. They had their bus illegally searched. The driver was searched. The players were searched. And now, from what I understand, the president of Delaware State University has filed a federal complaint with the Department of Justice about this treatment that this lacrosse team experienced in Georgia. Do you have like more succinct details for me, Kalanji? That's the gist of it, right?
Yeah. No, that's cool. So basically, as you mentioned, they were traveling through Liberty County, Georgia. Liberty County is about probably like an hour and a half away from Jacksonville, 4 hours away from Atlanta, right? Jacksonville, Florida. So they were down in Florida. They had some games in Florida and in Georgia. But again, it's closer to Florida than it is to Georgia. So these two white deputies pull them over, and they pulled them over saying that the bus was in the third lane, and they couldn't travel over in that lane, so on and so forth. Pull them over, get the bus driver off, who was a Black driver, of course. And he's basically saying that he didn't know he could drive over there because it said no trucks. It didn't say anything about buses. So right. He tells them that they are a lacrosse team from Delaware State, so on and so forth. And they decide that they want to search the bus for paraphernalia. They're looking for marijuana. Look, if you have any drugs or anything to put it in, scales, etc., whatever, let us know now because we won't be able to help you. So basically, it went from a stop with 2 cops to 6 officers and a K9, and they went through all of their belongings, throwing out their personal items, their sanitary napkins, and just going all through their underwear, so on and so forth, looking for anything, but they found nothing. So they tried to lie and say that they didn't go through the personal items, and their body cameras prove differently. So it's a big uproar right now, because, like I said, no crimes were committed, but yet they spent 20 minutes shaking them down. I know about Liberty County because I too was stopped in Liberty County maybe about 14 years ago now. And, they don't give a damn what you're in. It's going to be a search. And like the lacrosse team, we didn't have shit on us, but they will sit there and they'll waste your time. But that's that's America, but Georgia in particular, because I think that folks forget when they think of Atlanta, they forget that it's in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They forget how racist this particular place is. So hopefully, I mean, they're talking about the DOJ is investigating, but what the fuck does that mean?
Nothing. Nothing.
You know what I'm
Nothing.
saying?
They might write up
Basically,
a piece of paper and say, don't do that again, Liberty County. Again, the irony, Liberty fucking County, right? No
Right,
Liberty
right.
County.
Zero liberty. But yeah, so I mean, but it was I think it was a good educational experience, because sometimes we're so far removed and we think that, you know, as long as we're doing the right thing and we're just driving along and everything's cool, then it's no problem. I mean, they didn't get pulled over for speeding. They got pulled over because of the fact that dude said that they were in the wrong lane. I mean, you could have just pulled them over and said, listen, you can't drive over in that lane, whatever, whatever. Let me see your license, registration. Okay, cool. You have. So they tried to claim that they didn't know that the people on board were black because, you know, they couldn't see through the tinted windows. But then when the bus driver got off, it was clear that he was black as day or black as night, and that the folks on the joint was black. And one of the students even asked, they were like, man, we went from a traffic stop to a full search. So he went on to explain, the cops like, well, you know, we've retrieved all types of drugs and guns from trucks and so on and so forth and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it was just you know, insanity at its finest. But at least they didn't make them get out and lay on the side of the highway like they usually do.
I just want the corresponding white story for white kids to have to tell a story one day to their kids or to their folks that they got pulled over, all their shit got searched through, they got harassed, excuses were made, and the claim was that they were searching for drugs. Those corresponding white stories just do not happen. They don't that. And so when people think about it, right, they don't think that there is trauma associated with that, because that's like, wow. So it's just this easy. It's just this easy for somebody or some group with guns and badges and nightsticks for me to go from laughing with my friends on the bus to joking about something to some tense situation where these cats who got guns, who have the law on their side, can just pull out, arrest, stop, do whatever they want, search through all our stuff, and we can't do anything except take it. Yeah, anything. Because if we do anything, we will get shot.
And you're doing exactly and you're doing exactly what they told you to do to be a successful Negro in America. All you have to do is go to school, get good grades. I mean, they're on a lacrosse team, homie. I don't know about y'all. I don't know too many brothers and sisters that play lacrosse. And I'm not saying that
they do.
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying I don't know where I come from. So lacrosse isn't really thought of as like, you know, black folks playing lacrosse. It's like, you know, I mean, I think it's cool, but at the same time, it's like these bastards don't give a damn what you do. Oh, you from Delaware State? Oh, you from a HBCU? No problem. We got you. We're gonna go through all your underwear. We're gonna go through all your personal effects. I mean, that's just, how disrespectful is it for you to just be, you know, just rummaging through someone's personal shit? You know what I mean? And you know, they did it and they will continue to do it. This is just one of the
it's always a reason. They're always, you know, they're just always right. They always have a reason. There's never, it's like this, it's never in a moment where they just have the thought, it's like, you know what, maybe I'm just taking this too far, let me stop. Right? It's just the trigger goes off in their head, no pun intended, and they're just like, it's like, well, of course I'm right, of course I should be doing this, right? How dare you stop me from searching through all of your shit, throwing your stuff out on the floor? I'm looking for drugs. I have a perfectly legitimate reason. I don't see color, I see drugs, right? Dave, this is just that training. You know, this is a relatively soft story compared to what we started with, but it's that mental training in people in white folks' head that whatever they do is a good rationale or excuse to basically harass and intimidate Black people, and worse, of course. So it's just that's what white supremacy is. It's from the this is not on a scale of benign, but relatively speaking, light incident to something as crazy as what we started off the morning with.
And then just to sort of circle back, I mean, the ways in which policing is used, right? And then for Joe Biden to beat on his chest, and along with Democratic members of Congress talking about we're going to give more money to police because they need more training, they need more this, they need more that. Meanwhile, these white right-wing extremists, terrorist threats, domestic terrorist threats, this motherfucker from Buffalo, well, not from Buffalo, but who traveled to Buffalo to engage in domestic terrorism, this motherfucker was literally workshopping his fucking manifesto online in plain sight. And the FBI, I have to imagine that he had to have come across their radar, but again, low priority. They don't prioritize trying to stop domestic terrorism. They prioritize over policing Black and brown communities, make sure that they get the guns off the street in Baltimore, right? Doesn't stop a fucking murder from happening at all. They've been taking guns off the street in Baltimore for 40 years, okay? And whatever the murder rate and the gun violence problem in Baltimore persists. So whatever policing and policing method that they're trying to use to justify the way that they engage with Black and brown communities, they never, ever consider engaging those same sort of methods against white violent extremists who are in training, in wait, and who are dialoguing about their terroristic plans in public, online. CC January 6th. These niggas had talked about coming to overthrow the Capitol for weeks. And Metropolitan Police and all the federal law enforcement agencies in DCs were caught flat-footed. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. They was too busy looking at Black Lives Matter and trying to figure out what they was doing. But in the meantime, when I say Black Lives Matter, I mean the movement. I don't mean the organization, but you guys know what I mean. But again, the farcical ways in which policing is rolled out to us as a benefit to our community. It is time for the more moderate and centrist and specifically Democratic members of our community to be called out for supporting these fucking policies and to be discredited. Like, you cannot continue to listen to Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott or DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, and I'm just using them as an examples, but they are calling for more policing on our streets. That does not make our community safe. Why don't we get some redirected police dollars and focus on these motherfuckers in Harford County and Howard County and out in the burbs where they're actually strategizing domestic terrorist incidents? So anyway.
That's right. So speaking about making our community safe, I really didn't have a good segue, but there, doctor, just pop your ass back up on up here.
That was good.
I was going to go with it. I was like, never mind.
That was a better segue right there. Just pop.
Hey, we hit 250 today, so they said, "Yo, where's the mix?"
286, brother, for the record.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm saying 250 is the mark we got to hit.
Oh,
so we hit that mark. Yeah, no doubt. So
we might have to go up to 3.
Hey, let's get it. So let's go ahead and bring y'all out with a mix, and we're gonna check y'all in the morning. Let's get it. All right.
Amen.
Burn it down with Kim Brown tonight. Burn it down with Kim Brown tonight, 7 p.m., y'all. 7 p.m. Burn it down with Kim Brown. Go over to the channel and subscribe, please. Thank you.
Burn it down.
I'll be on Professor Griffin 6. Yeah.